Ambassador Zekthara of the Vortanian Collective adjusted her environmental suit nervously as the human transport descended through Earth's atmosphere. The readings on her scanner were alarming. Atmospheric pressure that would crush a Vortanian's delicate bone structure, oxygen levels that bordered on toxic, and gravitational pull nearly 3 times what her species considered safe. How do they survive on this nightmare world? She whispered to her aide, Talorn, whose 6 eyes were wide with terror behind his protective visor. The human pilot, Captain Sarah Chen, chuckled from the cockpit. Oh, this is a pretty mild day, actually. No hurricanes, earthquakes, or solar flares. Perfect weather for the kids' field trip. Zekthara's translator struggled with the concept. Field trip? On a Deathworld. The Galactic Council had invited humanity to join their peaceful alliance 3 months ago, impressed by their rapid technological advancement and diplomatic overtures. However, many species harbored doubts about these newcomers. Humans appeared fragile. No natural armor, no venomous fangs, no electromagnetic pulse capabilities. They seemed almost pathetically vulnerable compared to the galaxy's apex species. That perception was about to change forever. The transport landed at what humans called an elementary school, apparently an institution where they trained their young. Zekthara had expected a fortress-like structure with multiple protective barriers. Instead, she found a simple building surrounded by an open area where small humans engaged in what could only be described as ritualized combat. "Welcome to Riverside Elementary," announced Principal Martinez, a female human barely taller than Zekthara despite humans' reputation for size. "The kids are so excited to meet real aliens." Through the transparent barriers of their environmental suits, Zekthara and Talorn watched in growing horror as young humans, creatures no larger than Vortanian adults, engaged in activities that would terrify seasoned warriors from their homeworld. A group of tiny humans had climbed to impossible heights on metal structures, dangling from bars with nothing but their grip strength preventing a fatal fall to the hard surface below. Others kicked a spherical object with tremendous force, colliding with each other at velocities that should have shattered bones. Most disturbing of all, they seemed to be enjoying themselves, producing high-frequency vocalizations that the translator identified as laughter. Is this combat training?" Talorn stammered. Principal Martinez looked puzzled. "Combat? Oh no, this is recess. Playtime, they're just having fun." Fun. The translator had no adequate equivalent in Vortanian. "Perhaps you'd like to see our nature walk," the principal suggested cheerfully. "Third graders are exploring the woods today." The woods. Zekthara's scanner immediately detected dozens of potential threats. Venomous arthropods, predatory mammals, toxic plants, unstable terrain, and atmospheric pathogens. Yet 30 small humans marched into this death trap with nothing but cloth coverings and rubber foot protection, chattering excitedly about finding cool bugs. Young Emma, barely 8 Earth years old, casually picked up a creature that made Talorn's translator scream warnings about neurotoxic venom. She examined it with scientific curiosity before gently placing it back on a plant. "That's a beautiful spider," she told the visiting aliens. "Don't worry, this kind only bites if you really scare them. And even then it just hurts for a little while." Just hurts for a little while. Zekthara realized that what would kill most galactic species was merely a minor inconvenience to a human child. The revelation continued during lunch period. The young humans consumed substances that registered as toxic, acidic, or chemically dangerous on every scanner. They ingested plant matter that contained natural pesticides, consumed liquids with pH levels that would dissolve Vortanian digestive systems, and somehow processed proteins that required extreme temperatures to denature. "My favorite is the spicy curry," announced 7-year-old Marcus, consuming what Zekthara's suit identified as chemical weaponry. "My mom says it puts hair on your chest." But the true moment of understanding came during what humans called gym class. 30 children ran continuously for extended periods without apparent distress, their cardiovascular systems operating at efficiency levels that outperformed Vortanian military athletes. They lifted weights, performed complex acrobatic maneuvers, and engaged in competitive activities that required split-second reflexes and strategic thinking. Then 10-year-old Jessica fell from a climbing apparatus, striking the ground with an impact that should have been fatal. Zekthara rushed forward, expecting to perform last rites for the small warrior. Instead, Jessica bounced up, brushed dirt from her clothes, and returned to climbing with nothing more than a minor abrasion on her knee. I'm okay, she called cheerfully. That was actually pretty fun. The realization hit Zekthara like a plasma bolt. These weren't trained soldiers or genetically modified super beings. These were ordinary human children, living ordinary human lives on their ordinary death world. What other species would consider impossible survival scenarios? Humans called childhood. That evening, as the transport lifted away from Earth's surface, Zekthara composed her report to the Galactic Council with shaking appendages. Previous assessments of human durability were catastrophically inaccurate, she wrote. Humans do not merely survive on a death world, they thrive there. Their children play in conditions that would kill our finest warriors. They develop problem-solving skills by facing daily challenges that would overwhelm our military strategists. Most disturbing of all, they consider this normal. She paused, watching Earth shrink below them, and added a final note. Recommendation: full alliance immediately. These beings didn't just evolve on a death world, they evolved to make death worlds feel like home. The galaxy needs them as friends, not enemies. Because if their children can survive recess, imagine what their adults can accomplish. The galaxy had thought humans were frail. They were wrong. Humans weren't just survivors. They were deathworlders who smiled while doing the impossible. And they learned it all before age 12. The universe would never underestimate humanity again.